Hello fellow engineers, Snowfox here with a tour of my Snowflake Megabase. Now some of you might have seen screenshots similar to this on Reddit. I posted it a couple years ago of my unfinished Megabase. Now it's still quite unfinished and that's the reason why I haven't given a tour of it yet. There are some designs that I wanted to update, I just never got around to it. But here I am finally, just in time before the Space Age expansion to give a tour of this. And speaking of Space Age, I'm super excited about that. I'll be starting a new map. So if you want to follow my journey through that, I'll be posting some videos on this channel. Subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get into the tour. So this save actually started out as a vanilla save. I actually got most of my achievements on this save, including the Lazy Bastard achievement. And the reason why I had to turn on creative mode later and use a bunch of mods is because I was using a Spidertron to build things, and at some point that just got way too slow. Like every time I plot down a blueprint, I had to wait a minute for it to finish. So I'm just like, I don't want to spend that time to wait for building, so I'm just gonna turn on creative mode and call it a day. Same thing with biters. They were lowering my UPS enough, and I was on a laptop back then, so I really needed that UPS. So that's when I turned off the biters, and at that time the biters weren't really a problem anymore, so I don't feel like I was getting away with something. So this area is the center of the map. This is what I call the Center Lake area, and it's where my old base used to be before I started megabasing. So as we can see, it's a pretty nice lake here with a bunch of bots shipping things across the lake, and we got train stations on either side, and science on the bottom, rockets on top, and here's an item mall to craft anything that we need. Of course, we're in creative mode, so this is not really needed, but before, when we were building stuff, this was very important. And so the idea here is we have trains to bring materials in, including rocket parts, and bots will take them into the rockets. And same thing with science, train will bring the science and they will consume it in the center. So the idea is materials will be manufactured in the hexagons outside, and then trains travel along the edges of the hexagon, bring the stuff in, and they'll be consumed right here in the center. Let's check out the power and production stats. So for power, we're purely on solar, of course, because this is a megabase. We have this much solar panels, and power is pretty stable, I would say. And for production, we are at about 5K, a little bit more science per minute. It's not super stable. If we zoom out, you can see some big dips, but at least for the past hour, it's been pretty stable, close to 6K science per minute. And we're running about 47 updates per second, which is not ideal. So we're definitely hurting a bit in terms of UPS. We're hitting a cap, and there's a lot of things in the space that I haven't gotten a chance to optimize. This is my first megabase, so I'm pretty happy with where I got. There's some of the designs that I had worked out, some didn't, and those are definitely learnings for the future, and which is why I'm also very excited to start a new megabase in Space Age. And let's talk a little bit more about these trains. So all the trains in this space are 1-4 trains, except for refueling trains. Refueling trains are 1-1 trains. So how these trains work is they get filled up in one of the hexagons, and then they drop off at either a hexagon or in the middle. So for drop-off points, I named them the drop-off point, and then the train limit for a drop-off point is always 1. So this prevents trains from getting stuck in the middle of the map. They sometimes still get stuck for various reasons, but it doesn't happen a lot. And when trains don't have anything to do, they wait by default at the resource point, not the drop-off point. And why hexagons? Well, the biggest reason to make hexagons is because we have 3-way intersections everywhere. There are no 4-way intersections in this entire map. So 3-way intersections are super simple, they're super efficient, and they save a lot of space. As you can see, there's a little bit of traffic jam going on here, but they actually figure this out no problem. And just for a little bit of stats, we have about 568 trains and 1,850 stations on the map. So quite a lot of trains. And this is using quite a bit of UPS as well. Now let's go check out some of the hexagons. So one thing that I would have done differently with these hexagons is, even though they look nice and they fit 1-4 trains quite nicely, they are still a bit unwieldy. I would have made them bigger and probably used 2A trains, or maybe even something like 316 trains, just so that like late game UPS utilization would be better. Like for example, here I switched to direct train to train smelting. This is not a perfect setup, but something like this would be ideal for UPS. But 1-4 trains are just too short to make this work very well in especially in a hexagon this small. Ideally, I would have like very large space to do this. And also another problem with hexagons is that they're harder to copy paste. Like I can't get the entire hexagon if I just do this, and then if I do this, I'll get like stuff from the other hexagons beside it. So this makes blueprints more difficult. In fact, because of that, I made just an area just for this purpose. Basically, these are all blueprints that, as you can see, the hexagons adjacent are all empty, so I can just copy paste these blueprints easily and iterate on these. So yeah, so this is a smelting setup. It's one of the newer ones. I also have some older ones that are lingering and I haven't updated, and that's why the base is not super efficient right now. And here is a low density structure setup. And this one's a little different. It's not direct train to train. I'm using bots to ship some stuff, but I'm doing some interesting stuff here too. So instead of shipping plates in, I'm shipping the ore in, and then having plate to steel to LDS, and then plate to LDS here. I think this is better because it saves more transport on the in-between steps. Not 100% sure. I think in newer, if I have to redesign this, I would definitely put all the LDS next to the rockets. And here's another LDS setup, and let's go find some other stuff. Okay, let's zoom out here. So as you can see, I have modules all over the place, and they're sort of spread out so that, like, the idea here is that I don't put everything together so that resources get distributed better. So like if I have, for example, a low density structure all in one area, then that area would be very starved for copper. So I don't want that. So I want things to be more spread out, and then so load balancing just happens automatically. And I'll just give you some examples of what I've done here. So here is an example of a green circuit setup. These still use belts. They use, it's a combination of belts, bots, and trains, which is not ideal. But the cool thing here is I'm shipping 2 full belts of green circuit directly to the middle, and this is making blue circuit. And as you can see, the blue circuit is taking 4 modules of green circuit, like all around it, and 1 module of red circuit. And this red circuit is also supplied by this module, it's just a green circuit. And then basically all of the modules on the ends feed into this middle blue circuit module. And so this is a mega module that makes blue circuits. And then let's check out an oil setup here. This is a similar idea. So the middle module is making rocket fuel, and we have some plastic here, oil here. This oil feeds this plastic, and then this plastic is fed by this oil, and this oil feeds this plastic. The idea is here the oil feeds the plastic module, and then the excess goes to the middle to make rocket parts. And let's check out some mining example. So this is one of the newer mining operations. Basically, just very straightforward. Train comes in, direct insertion to the train, and the train leaves. So fairly straightforward. What else do I show? I guess science. Red science, green science. This is batteries, I believe. This is another conjoined module. So this is blue science here, and then some of the intermediate materials get shipped to the bottom to make yellow science. So these two modules make about 700 science each, which is pretty cool. I think, yeah, again, like I would definitely redo the layout so that I don't use spots and belts, but overall this is pretty cool. There's also like some pretty cool belt weaving going on here with this design. What else? I think there's some cool yeah, this is rocket control units, which are deprecated in the future, but so these make rocket control units, and they take green circuit from here, green circuit from here, and red circuit from here. And yeah, let me know if you're interested in seeing other parts of this base, but this is pretty much it. So before ending the video, I want to show you how the base looked a couple saves ago. So I spent about, I think, 200 hours on the Megabase, and this is about 140 hours in, and this is what the base looks like at that time. As we can see, we don't have the Snowflake shape yet, but I already had these hexagons designed, and we're expanding it out, and biters are still on the map. I believe I was using Spidertrons at this point, but then the mods broke, so I don't have the Spidertrons right now. Yeah. And this save is about 60 hours in, so we can see the base looks very different. The center lake is still here, and the design that I used here is kind of a main bus design, except everything goes towards the center hub, and then the hub uses robots to exchange materials and ship things in and out on belts. I don't know how good this design is. I might try it again. It felt pretty cool. And as we can see, biters are there, and we have like giant walls of defenses to fend off the biters. And we're doing nuclear power. Yeah. Some of the designs here are from Nilos, so if you see some similarities there, thank you Nilos for the design inspirations. And then lastly, we have about 20 hours in. So this is a much smaller base. And I remember around this time I had a lot of problems with biters. Biters are just invading me nonstop, and I had to like spend maybe 10 hours just to deal with the biter attacks and make sure that my military science is sufficiently upgraded. Let's see. Yeah, now at this point I don't have as much problem anymore because I got like upgraded laser turrets. I'm making Spidertron right now, but there was a point in time where I had to load a lot of saves just to make sure I don't die to biters. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for watching the video. Stay tuned for my new series with space exploration. Hopefully you find that interesting. Like and subscribe and comment. Let me know if you have any questions. Bye.